Dear students, our next topic is rectangular component of rectangular component of a vector in 3 dimensions. Okay, so you need to consider a 3-dimensional vector. Alright, so we need to create that. So it's a time-taking process, so please be patient. Sorry. So let this be your x-axis. Okay, and let us consider this as y-axis, and finally let us consider this as z-axis. Okay, and let me have a vector, say OP vector. Okay, so I think it must be clear for you. It's a 3-dimensional one. Okay, so this OP vector, I would like to name it here OP vector. Okay, now this OP vector is making angle alpha with respect to x-axis, beta with respect to y-axis, and gamma with respect to z-axis. Okay, alpha, beta, gamma, these are the angles made by this vector. Now let me name this point as R. Let me name this as T, and here already the name is there as P. Let this be Q, and let this be S. Okay, now this was O. Alright, now OQ vector. Okay, this is the component of OP vector along x-axis. ठीक है, now मैं OP वेक्टर जो है OP वेक्टर को नाम दे रहा हूं A वेक्टर. OP वेक्टर को क्या नाम दे दिया? A वेक्टर नाम दे दिया. ठीक है, अब आप देखिए जो स्टेटमेंट मैंने ऊपर लिखा हुआ है उसको रिपीट कर रहा हूं इधर. OQ vector I'm going to name it as AX vector, that is component of A vector along x-axis. ठीक है, now OS vector I'm going to name it as AY vector, that is component of vector A along y-axis, and OR vector, this is OR vector, this is OS vector, and this was OQ vector. Now OR vector I'm going to name it as A suffix Z vector, that is component of All right, a vector along z axis, a vector along z axis. अब हम स्प्लिट हमने वेक्टर ए को रिजोल्व कर ही दिया है. ओके, अब हम इसको कैसे लिख सकते हैं? वी कैन राइट इट एज ए वेक्टर इक्वल्स ax vector plus ay vector plus a z vector. This can be written in another form, that is ax I cap, all right, plus ay j cap plus az k cap. This can also be written in this form. Okay, now we are going to find out what could be this value of you can say ax, ay and az. All right, and we are going to prove this one also. We can write this a vector. हमें ये prove भी करना है. We are going to prove this a vector can be written like this. Okay, why it is written like this, we will prove this one. And second thing, we will be finding out what is the magnitude of ax, what is magnitude of ay, and we can find out what is the magnitude of az as well, है ना. ये भी हम find out करेंगे. All right, अब आप देखिए. So ये particular part को find out करने के लिए what we need to do is, ये देखिए, I am going to create a line from the origin towards t. ये देखिए, ऐसे एक लाइन खींच रहा हूँ. This angle is going to be 90 degree, that you know, isn't it? So this is OLE. सबसे पहले आप कंसिडर करेंगे ट्रायंगल OTP. ट्रायंगल OTP. कैसे ट्रायंगल OTP देखिए, it was like this. This was O, this was T, this was P, and here this angle was 90 degree, isn't it? तो अब देखिए इसमें से क्या होगा, what will be the relationship between OT, TP and OP. इधर क्या relationship रहेगा, 90 degree है ना. So this is the hypotenuse, isn't it? So OP, so देखिए I can write OP vector equals OT vector plus TP vector लिख दिया. OP vector equals to OT vector plus TP vector लिख दिया. Okay, फाइन, क्लियर हो गया. अब आप आइए ट्रायंगल OTR में, ट्रायंगल OTR. all right, so this is triangle OTR. This angle is 90. This was O, this was T, and here this is R. okay, इधर आप देखो, OT वेक्टर, इसमें से OT वेक्टर इक्वल्स OR वेक्टर प्लस RT वेक्टर. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put this over here. OT का वाली इधर सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे. So OP वेक्टर क्या हो जाएगा, OP वेक्टर इक्वल टू OT का जगह OR वेक्टर प्लस RT वेक्टर प्लस TP वेक्टर हो जाएगा. तो हमें एक रिलेशनशिप मिल गया नया OP के लिए. ओके, अब आप एक चीज देखिए, RT वेक्टर इज इक्वल टू OQ वेक्टर है। मैंने एक्चुअली इसलिए छोटा किया ताकि डायग्राम आपको दिख जाए। ऑलराइट, RT वेक्टर इक्वल टू OQ वेक्टर हो गया, फाइन। नेक्स्ट TP वेक्टर इक्वल्स टू OS वेक्टर बन जाएंगे। समझ में आया ना? आपको ये डायग्राम देखिए, इसमें R2 वेक्टर इक्वल टू OQ वेक्टर बन जाएंगे, RT वेक्टर, ऑलराइट, R2 वेक्टर दैट इज इक्वल टू OQ वेक्टर एंड TP वेक्टर इक्वल टू OS वेक्टर। सो इस पर्टिकुलर रिलेशनशिप को आई एम गोइंग टू कंसिडर ओवर हियर। ऑलराइट, ये रिलेशनशिप इधर आ जाएंगे, कहां पे? इधर। सो OP वेक्टर इक्वल्स OR वेक्टर प्लस RT की जगह क्या हो जाएंगी? OQ वेक्टर प्लस OS वेक्टर हो जाएगा। ऑलराइट, नाउ व्हाट वाज OR? OR वेक्टर क्या था? दैट वाज इक्वल टू AZ वेक्टर। ओके, what was OQ? That was AX vector. And what was OS? That was equal to AY vector. So hence it is proved that OP vector, which was equal to A vector, that is equal to OR was AZ vector plus OQ was AX vector and OS was AY vector, which can also be written as AXI cap plus AY J cap, AY J cap plus AZ K cap. समझ में आया? So we just prove that relationship, how we can write a vector into a three-dimensional form. Okay, or you can say how we can resolve a vector into a three-dimensional form. Now, as I told, कि A vector that was making an angle alpha with respect to x-axis, beta with respect to y-axis, and gamma with respect to z-axis. Therefore, AX will be equal to A cos alpha only. Okay, now AY, that is component along y-axis, that is equal to A cos of beta होगा, and component along z-axis AZ, that is going to be A cos of gamma होगा. Okay, so जिस axis, for example x-axis के साथ, I can tell you something, I can brief that is something like this. A vector है, ये अल्फा एंगल बना रहे और ये बीटा एंगल बना रहे, विद रिस्पेक्ट टू वाई एक्सिस बीटा एंगल, विद रिस्पेक्ट टू एक्स एक्सिस अल्फा एंगल. सो कंपोनेंट अलोंग एक्स एक्सिस ax कंसीडर किया आपने, एंड कंपोनेंट अलोंग y एक्सिस you consider it as ay. So ay will be equal to magnitude of vector A into cos of, with respect to y axis it was make an angle beta, so it is, that is why cos beta. Now A of x, that is equal to A times, with respect to x-axis it was making an angle alpha, so that is why it is cos of alpha. All right, so in three dimension vector A was making an angle gamma with respect to z-axis, so the component along z-axis AZ is equal to A times cos of gamma it is going to be. So that is what it is, AX, AY and AZ. All right, it's mentioned over here. Okay, now let us consider a situation. Say instead of vector A, let it be a position vector. Let it be a position vector. Say R vector. Okay, now this position vector R can be represented as, let x comma y z be its component along x, y and z axis. Then this can be written as x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. So this is normally we represent a position vector in 3 dimension. Okay, now let me discuss a very one of the most important and familiar practical example of representation of a vector. So here example of resolution of a vector. All right, so देखिए let this be one of the leg of someone who is trying to walk. Okay, so आपको पता है, so he will be applying some force F in the downward direction towards the earth. So earth will be offering equal and opposite force in the upward direction, action reaction. All right, now let this angle be theta. So this is the line parallel to the horizontal surface. So this reaction force offered by the earth, it's making an angle theta with respect to the horizontal. All right, now this reaction force, if you have a look, this reaction force can have two components. This is the okay, r is a reaction force, it's a vector quantity, so it can have two components, and that components are the key. This is one component and this is another component. Okay, so I would like to call this as Rx vector and I would like to call this as Ry vector. And as we just discussed, Rx vector, it is going to have the magnitude as R cos theta. Okay, and Ry vector is going to have the magnitude as R sin theta. Rx and Ry. Okay, now आप देखिए ये Rx और Ry का क्या रोल है. Rx and Ry. Okay, now this Rx will push the man in the forward direction. And what this Ry will do, Ry will be balancing his weight. All right, so हुआ क्या है, this person applied a force towards the earth offered a reaction R. Now this reaction, since being vector, we can resolve it into two parts, Ry and Rx. Rx will try to move this person in the forward direction and Ry will balance his weight. Dear students, now let us see if we are provided with a vector in terms of its rectangular component, and that too is a three-dimensional vector. I mean to say a vector equals ax vector plus a y vector plus a z vector. This can also be written as ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. If we are being provided with a vector in terms of its rectangular component and that too a three-dimensional vector, then how to get the magnitude of the resultant vector? Is what could be the magnitude of A? That's a question. Okay, so how to get that? So for that, I would like to consider triangle OQT first of all. OQT. If you consider that triangle, this is O, this is Q, this is T, and this is top view. That means this is x-axis, and here this is your z-axis. Okay, from here you know that OQ square plus QT square equals to OT square. You know that QT is equal to OR. Considering that fact, OQ square plus, instead of QT we can write OR square equals to OT square. Let this be equation number 1. Okay, now I am going to consider triangle OTP. Triangle OTP. Triangle OTP. Here you need to look at the triangle in this way. This has to be the face-off approach. Alright, so there you can see the triangle in this way. This is O, here this is T, and here this is P. This angle is 90 degree. Alright, considering Pythagoras theorem over here, OT square plus TP square equals to OP square. Okay, we already have the expression for OT square from equation number 1. What is that? OT square equal to OQ square plus OR square plus, please have a look at this diagram. TP is equal to OS. So I am going to replace TP with OS square. That is equal to OP square. Now, please have a look at this diagram once again. Do this one. What is this? OQ stands for? OQ stands for AX. OQ stands for AX. What about OR? OR is equal to AZ. Now what is OS? S is not visible. Yes. What is OS here? OS equal to AY. Okay. So we need to now consider these values into our equation number 2. Alright, and what was OP? What was OP? OP was magnitude of our vector A. So here this is going to be AX square plus AZ square plus AY square equal to A square, or you can say A equals under root of AX square plus AY square plus AZ square. Alright, so my concluding statement is, if you are provided with a vector, say P vector equals to AI cap plus BJ cap plus CK cap, X component, Y component and Z component. Now the magnitude of your vector, that is going to be the coefficient of X component square, that is A square, plus coefficient of y component square, that is b square, plus coefficient of z component square, that is c square. Hope you got it. Now let's discuss another question they gave. We have one vector, that is OA vector, OA vector, and that is in xy plane. That is in xy plane. Okay, so point O is having its coordinate as x1 comma y1. Now we have got another vector, that is OB, such that point O is having its coordinate as x2 comma y2. Okay, and O stands for origin, that is 0 0 0 in 3 dimension, 0 0 0. But our question, all the case of 2 dimension only, so we can represent as 0 0. Now let AB vector be a vector pointing from A to B. A to B. Now the question is to find out the magnitude of AB vector. What will be the magnitude of AB vector? That's the question. Okay. Now, what you need to first do is consider triangle OAB. Okay. So considering triangle OAB is going to be something like this. Here this is O, this is A, and here this is going to be B. Okay, this is B. So this is OA vector, and this was OB vector. So what this is going to be? This is going to be AB vector. Okay, now considering triangle of vector addition, considering triangle law of vector addition, you know that OA vector plus AB vector equals to OB vector होना चाहिए. From here I can say AB vector equals OB vector minus OA vector होगा. ठीक है, fine. Now how we can write OB vector? OB vector, it is x2 I cap plus y2 j cap. And what was OA vector? OA vector was x1 I cap plus y1 j cap. Okay, if we need to add OA plus OB vector, what will be the resultant? The resultant is going to be x1 plus x2 I cap plus y1 plus y2 j cap. Okay, now if we need to subtract OB from OA, that is if it is OA vector minus OB vector, here it is going to be x1 minus x2 I cap plus y1 minus y2 j cap. So here what was OB? OB was x2 I cap plus y2 j cap. minus what was OA? It was x1 I cap plus y1 j cap. So here the resultant is going to be what? Here it is going to be x2 minus x1 I cap minus of plus y2 minus y1 j cap. So here this is a b vector. Now here this is the coefficient of component along x-axis, and here this is the coefficient of vector component along y-axis. Okay, so the magnitude of AB vector, is going to be under root of, okay, x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. This is going to be the resultant of the vector. Hope you got it. Dear students, our next question is, we are having a vector that is AB such that coordinates of A, it is 1, 2, minus 1, and coordinates of B is given as 3, 2, 2. Alright, you need to get the magnitude of AB. Alright, and you need to do this as your homework question number 1 for the day. Alright, is that okay? Fine. Now next question, let us consider a vector A equals I cap plus 4 j cap minus 2 k cap, and vector B is given as 3 I cap minus 5 j cap plus k cap. Okay, now vector C is equal to vector A plus vector B. Okay, now the question is, what is C cap? That means you need to find out a unit vector along the resultant of vector A plus vector B. ओके, ये क्वेश्चन कैसे करेंगे? देखिए, हमें पता है अगर हमारे पास एक वेक्टर है P एंड इफ वी नीड टू फाइंड आउट ए यूनिट वेक्टर दैट इज P कैप, हम कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे? P वेक्टर को P वेक्टर का मैग्नीट्यूड से डिवाइड करेंगे. ओके, सो अगर हमें C कैप फाइंड आउट करना है, दैट मीन्स हम C वेक्टर को C वेक्टर का मैग्नीट्यूड से डिवाइड करेंगे. इज दैट क्लियर? सो हम सबसे पहले ये फाइंड आउट करते हैं C वेक्टर क्या होगा. C वेक्टर क्या होगा? C वेक्टर होंगे, C वेक्टर was equal to वेक्टर A plus वेक्टर B. ठीक है, वेक्टर A का वैल्यू कितना था? वेक्टर A का वैल्यू था I कैप प्लस 4 J कैप minus 2 k cap. This was vector A plus vector B कितना था? 3 I cap, all right, minus 5 J cap plus k cap. This was vector B. इन दोनों को ऐड करने का मतलब I और I का कंपोनेंट ऐड कर लो. 3 plus 1 4 I cap plus minus plus 4 minus 5. Okay, that is minus 1 j cap plus minus 2 plus 1, that is minus 1 k cap. So आपका c वेक्टर का वैल्यू आया, c वेक्टर इक्वल्स, c वेक्टर का वैल्यू कितना आया 4i cap, isn't it, minus j cap minus k cap. All right, ये देखिए. Now what about magnitude of c vector? That is under root of I का coefficient square, that is 4 square. Okay, y component कितना है, coefficient इसका -1, so -1 square plus z का coefficient -1 square. This will give the answer as under root of 18, that is 3 under root 2. All right, अब हमें क्या find out करना है, c cap. What is c cap? C cap is c vector upon magnitude of c, that is 4i cap minus j cap minus k cap, all divided by 3 under root 2. This is 4 by 3 under root 2 times I cap minus of 1 upon 3 times under root 2 j cap minus of 1 upon 3 under root 2 k cap, and here this is give the unit vector. All right, now our next question. मेरे पास एक वेक्टर है, वेक्टर A, it is given as 3i cap minus 5 j cap plus 7 k cap, and B vector is given as 2i cap plus 4 j cap minus of 3 k cap, and third vector is given as x vector. Now it is mentioned that vector A plus vector B plus vector x is equal to a unit vector. Okay, a unit vector along y-axis. If that is the situation, we need to find out what is the value of x. This is the question. Hope the question part is clear to you guys. अब आप देखिए हम इसको कैसे करेंगे. क्वेश्चन ये कह रहा है वेक्टर A प्लस वेक्टर B प्लस वेक्टर C equals to j cap, isn't it? This is what the question says. So I'm going to change, substitute the value of A. It is 3i cap minus 5 j cap plus 7 k cap. I substitute the value of A. Then I am going to substitute the value of B. That is 2i cap plus 4 j cap minus of 3 k cap, all right, plus x vector, that is an unknown value, is equal to unit vector along y-axis. That means it can be written as 0i cap plus j cap plus 0 k cap. We can write it like this. Okay, now leave x vector on left hand side and take the rest off. Okay, I'm sorry. Now let us add these two first of all. इन दोनों का एडिशन कर लेते हैं. 3 plus 2, 5 I cap plus minus 5 plus 4, that is minus 1 j cap plus, next is plus 7 minus 3, so it is plus 4 k cap. Okay, plus x vector equals 0 I cap plus j cap plus 0 k cap. Okay, so from here x vector is going to be 0 I cap plus j cap plus 0 k cap minus of 5 I cap minus j cap plus 4 k cap, isn't it? This can be written as 0 minus of 5. Okay, I cap plus, here it is 1 minus of minus 1. Okay, j cap plus 0 minus 4 k cap. Okay, this will leave the answer as minus 5 I cap, here is going to be plus 2 j cap minus of 4 k cap. So finally we can write x vector equals minus 5 I cap, okay, plus 2 j cap minus 4 k cap. Okay, so this is going to be the value for x vector. So if they are asking for the magnitude of x vector का magnitude अगर आप find out करना है, so what will be the magnitude? Magnitude is going to be minus of 5 square, क्वेश्चन में नहीं है, मैं ऐसे बोल रहा हूँ आपको, 2 square plus minus of 4 square. So this will leave the magnitude of x vector. Dear students, our next question says we are having two forces. Say F1 vector is given as 3 I cap plus 4 j cap, and the second force, that is F2 vector, it is given as 3 j cap plus 4 k cap. So these two forces are simultaneously acting onto a point like this. Okay, F1 vector. Alright, I think you will be getting misguided. So these two forces are simultaneously acting onto a point, say P. Okay, how it is acting, it is not at all given, or simultaneously onto a point P, and the resultant is F. Resultant of F1 and F2 is F vector. Okay, so F vector equal to F1 vector plus F2 vector. You need to just find out the magnitude of the resultant force. That's all. Okay, so here this is your homework question number 2 for the day. Okay, now next question. We are provided with two vectors. Say vector A equals 3 I cap plus 4 j cap, and the second vector B vector is given as 7 I cap plus 24 j cap. Okay, now we need to find out a vector whose direction is same as that of a vector and magnitude is that of what, b vector. So हमें क्या करना चाहिए, पहले b वेक्टर का मैग्नीट्यूड निकालो और उस वैल्यू को a कैप से मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, हो जाएगा काम. So let us first of all get the value of magnitude of b vector, that is x का coefficient 7 square plus y का coefficient 24 square. This will give the value as 25. Okay, now we need to get a cap now, isn't it? What is a cap? A cap is a vector divided by magnitude of a. What was a vector? 3i cap plus 4 j cap. Okay, what's going to be magnitude of a vector का magnitude क्या होगा? a vector का magnitude आएंगे equal to 5. क्या इसको 5 से डिवाइड करिए तो क्या हो जाएगा? दिस इज गोइंग टू बी 3 by 5 i cap plus 4 by 5 j cap. Now we need to get that vector whose magnitude is same as that of b vector and direction is same as that of a vector, है ना? So उसको p vector बोल देते हैं. So p vector का वैल्यू क्या होगा? p vector equals to b का magnitude कितना था? 25. 25 times 3 by 5 I cap plus 4 by 5 j cap. ये देखिए 25 अंदर चला जाएंगे. फर्स्ट केस में it will leave 15 I cap and y direction में is going to be 20 j cap. So we got p vector as 15 I cap plus 20 j cap. I believe we got it.